I have no idea. I mean, obviously I never had one before. All I thought was they were going to cry all the time. But no, he's happy. And like I said, he adapts to where he is, so he's good.
One day, obviously, I hope that he does what I do. So this is good
I don't
training.
think it's a case of one day. I think, when is he going to be sitting in your chair?
I know, for me,
Every
I
time
would
you turn your back.
I just skip school and just get him working now.
What would you say to Eric if he wanted to be in the industry?
I would say 100%, but stay my side of the desk. I don't want him the other side of the desk.
Right.
No, he comes to work with me a lot now in England and America.
At 64, Simon Cowell reaches his limit and confirms the shocking rumors about his son. Simon Cowell, notoriously tough on TV, faced a dramatic turn in his life in February 2014. With the arrival of his son, Eric Philip Cowell, a softer side of Simon emerged, surprising many who knew him only as a stern judge. Alongside his partner, Lauren Silverman, Simon embraced parenthood, with Eric quickly becoming the heart of their family life. But what effects has this profound change had on Simon himself? Before we get into this, it's clear that Simon has changed more than we thought, and what we're going to tell you might really surprise you. A new role for Simon. Simon Cowell, known by many as a tough and no-nonsense judge on talent shows, experienced a significant change in his life in February of 2014. The birth of his son, Eric Philip Cowell, revealed a softer side of Simon that few people had seen before. Simon and his partner, Lauren Silverman, were filled with joy as they started their journey as parents, with their son quickly becoming the center of their world. What comes next will show how this big change really turned Simon's world upside down, in ways no one saw coming. When Lauren's pregnancy was announced, it marked a big moment for Simon. He expressed a happiness that was clear for everyone to see. Simon was excited about becoming a father, and when Eric was born, he seemed to take on the role naturally, almost as if it was meant to be. This time in Simon's life was full of strong feelings, and everything he did seemed to revolve around his new role as a dad. But things were not always easy. The events around Eric's birth were quite dramatic. Simon was in London working on Britain's Got Talent when Lauren went into labor in New York. Without a second thought, Simon caught the first flight to be with her, arriving just in time for the birth. This showed a clear shift in his priorities, putting his family first in a way people hadn't seen before. Choosing the name Eric for their son was a deeply emotional decision for Simon. It was a tribute to his own father, who had passed away in 1999. This choice showed how much Simon wanted to honor his father's memory. The early days with baby Eric were filled with happiness and lighthearted moments. Simon, known for his quick humor, joked about the challenges of being a new parent, like sleepless nights and adjusting to new routines. He even humorously mentioned that during those first tough nights, it seemed like both Lauren and baby Eric needed comforting. Simon was eager to share his joy with the world. He announced the birth of his son on social media, filled with pride and happiness. He also spoke to the press about his goal of forming a strong bond with Eric, similar to the close relationship he had with his own parents. This shift into fatherhood softened Simon's public image, showing a gentler and more caring side of him. But this wasn't the only change in Simon's life. Eric's arrival also changed how Simon felt about family and commitment. In the past, Simon had been somewhat dismissive of marriage, especially during his long-term relationship with Terry Seymour, where he had openly stated that he didn't see marriage in his future. However, becoming a father made him rethink his views. By 2021, after spending more time with his family during the global lockdown, Simon decided to propose to Lauren, showing that he was now ready to fully commit to family life. This wasn't just a personal change, it was also about building stronger family ties. Eric's presence brought Simon and Lauren closer together, highlighting the importance of family during a challenging time like the pandemic. It gave Simon time to think about what really mattered to him, which led to his decision to propose. His journey from a confirmed bachelor to a devoted father and partner shows just how much his outlook on life and relationships had changed. As Simon Cowell got closer to marrying Lauren Silverman, he also took on a new and important role as a stepfather to Lauren's son, Adam Silverman, who was born in 2006. Adam, who mostly stays out of the public eye, has developed a close relationship with Simon. This connection became clear to everyone when Adam stood proudly by Simon's side during his Hollywood Walk of Fame star ceremony in 2018. Their bond is strong, built on a foundation of mutual respect and admiration. At home, the dynamics within this newly blended family are truly heartwarming. Simon's son Eric and Adam, despite the difference in their ages, have formed a brotherly relationship that is full of affection and fun. The boys have been seen enjoying each other's company on various family trips and outings, showing how well they have fit into each other's lives. A memorable family vacation to Barbados highlighted their closeness. The two brothers were seen playing together in the ocean, their matching swimwear a sweet symbol of their growing unity. But this wasn't the only time their bond was clear to everyone. At home, the brothers find happiness in simple activities like bike riding and family picnics, which only makes their relationship stronger. They support each other through everyday adventures, from sharing stories about their day to standing together during family challenges. When Simon had an accident on his electric bike, their worry and care during his recovery showed just how close they had become. However, their relationship didn't start without its hurdles. When Simon first began dating Lauren, Adam's father, Andrew Silverman, was not too happy about Simon being involved with Adam. The divorce agreement between Lauren and Andrew included strict rules that could result in a big penalty if Simon crossed certain boundaries with Adam. These early tensions put Adam in a tough spot, caught between grown-up disagreements at a very young age. But this wasn't the end of the story. Over time, these challenges started to fade away. Simon and Adam have been seen enjoying many events together, which shows that they have built a strong and stable relationship. Simon, Lauren, and Eric often split their time between the United States and the United Kingdom, with Eric attending school in Wimbledon. While it is not always clear if Adam lives full-time with them or spends more time with his father in the US, he is often seen with the family in the UK. For example, he has joined them on outings at the Epsom races, looking relaxed and happy, showing that things have settled into a good place. But there was more to come. Balancing his role as a father with his demanding work life has been a huge change for Simon. In the past, his world mostly revolved around his career, but becoming a father has changed his priorities in a big way. He has shared that fatherhood has given him a new outlook on life, making things that once seemed so important feel less stressful. Now his main focus is on giving his sons a balanced life and being there for them in every way he can. But this wasn't the end of Simon's transformation. Kelly Clarkson, who was once a contestant on American Idol and is now a host, has noticed the change in Simon firsthand. On her show, she commented on how being a dad had shown a softer, more open side of Simon. She pointed out that his late-night work habits, which used to be a big part of his daily routine, just didn't fit with family life anymore. She highlighted how Simon has shifted his focus to make sure he spends more time with his family. This change has been more than just good for his family. It has brought a new sense of balance to Simon's life, making him feel happier and more fulfilled. There have been rumors about Simon retiring, but he has made it clear that he isn't planning to slow down anytime soon. In talks with the media, he has compared his passion for his work to the dedication his late father had for his own career. Simon plans to keep going as long as he feels he is making a difference and doing a good job. As Simon adjusts to fatherhood, his career also takes new directions beyond judging, from game shows to cartoons. Besides his well-known role on talent shows and finding new stars, Simon Cowell has been part of many other projects outside of reality TV. In 1990, he appeared on the British game show Sale of the Century, and later in 2003, he was a contestant on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Simon has also made appearances on popular shows like Top Gear, The Oprah Winfrey Show, and Saturday Night Live. Beyond TV, he has lent his voice and character to animated shows and films, including The Simpsons, The Fairly Odd Parents, Family Guy, Scary Movie 3, Shrek 2, and Scooby-Doo. Even though Simon's future projects are not entirely clear, one thing is certain: he plans to keep working, but maybe at a slower pace. He wants to spend more time with his son, Eric. This change in focus is largely because of Eric, who has encouraged Simon to cut back on work and also helped him tackle some personal challenges, like giving up smoking. But quitting smoking wasn't easy. In 2022, Simon shared a touching story with the media about how Eric became a big part of his effort to quit. Whenever Simon tried to sneak a cigarette, Eric would be right there, making sure he didn't. This watchful eye eventually led Simon to cut down significantly, and by 2023, he quit smoking cigarettes altogether. Though Simon has switched to vaping, which he thinks is a healthier choice, it's clear that Eric's influence played a big role in this change. Eric's impact didn't stop at smoking. He also influenced Simon's decision to stop using cosmetic treatments like Botox and fillers. In an industry that often values looking perfect, Simon realized that these treatments were making him look strange, even saying he looked like something out of a horror film. The turning point came when he saw an old photo of himself that he could hardly recognize, and Eric's laughter at his changed appearance helped him decide to stop using fillers. But this wasn't the only thing Eric changed. Embracing a more natural look, Simon has shifted his focus to maintaining his health in more holistic ways, like exercise and a balanced diet, rather than relying on cosmetic fixes. This choice shows a change in his values, largely inspired by his son's views, and a new trend in celebrity culture that celebrates being genuine over being artificially perfect. Simon's journey as a father has not only changed his health habits, but also what he sees as most important in life. Being a dad has brought a new sense of energy and purpose to him, shifting his focus from just work to building deeper connections with his family. Eric's love for being active and spending time outdoors has motivated Simon to stay physically fit, leading to a healthier lifestyle overall. In 2019, Simon even switched to a vegan diet to boost his energy and overall well-being. But this wasn't just about health changes. The close relationship between Simon and Eric has also sparked creative projects, like a planned 7-part children's book series featuring magical creatures they dreamed up together. This project is not just a way for them to bond, but it's also meant to support charities, showing their commitment to giving back to the community. These changes in Simon's life point to a much larger transformation. He's gone from being a celebrity known for his sharp critiques on TV to a dedicated father and partner who now places a higher value on his relationships and health than on fame. Eric has been a driving force behind this change, showing just how much personal relationships can affect a person's lifestyle and priorities. Simon's life now is about finding a balance between caring for his family and keeping up with his work, showing a complete evolution shaped by his role as a father. Eric's early exposure to exclusive circles shapes his unique future. Early privileges. From a very young age, Eric Cowell has been surrounded by a world of luxury and special opportunities, all thanks to his father's fame and success. By the time he was 4 years old, even before he learned how to tie his own shoes, Eric was welcomed into one of the most exclusive clubs in the world, Soho House. This is not just any club, it's a private retreat for celebrities and wealthy individuals, with members like Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and Kate Moss. Soho House offers its members a quiet place to relax, far from the prying eyes of the media, with top-quality services and amenities. The reason Simon got this membership for Eric was both practical and a bit extravagant. During a hot summer when Simon was busy with work and Eric's mom wasn't available, Eric wanted to go swimming. To make sure Eric could swim whenever he wanted, Simon decided to buy the Soho House membership. It was a mix of luxury and a father's love, making sure Eric's simple wish was fulfilled in the most comfortable way possible. But this wasn't just about giving Eric a taste of the good life. His early exposure to such experiences has set the stage for a future as exciting as his father's. From a young age, Eric has been close to the entertainment world, learning about talent and performance right alongside Simon. For example, when he walked the red carpet with Simon for the 18th season of America's Got Talent, Eric showed a surprising knack for predicting the winner, something Simon proudly talked about in an interview with Access Hollywood. Simon has involved Eric in many parts of his work life from the start, often bringing him to the set of Got Talent. At first, Simon worried that Eric might not find his work interesting. But to his surprise, Eric not only loved being on set, but also developed a deep admiration for the talented people he saw perform. Simon is very proud of this shared interest and often jokes about Eric becoming a judge on the show one day. In fact, in April of 2024, Simon made a playful post on Instagram, hinting that Eric might be a future judge on Got Talent. But this wasn't the end of Eric's ambitions. He doesn't just want to be a judge, he wants to compete. Inspired by his favorite band, Green Day, Eric has talked about joining a rock band and even performing on Britain's Got Talent. He recently took up drumming, showing a natural talent for music, and Simon has been impressed by how quickly he's picking up the rhythm. While the idea of Eric competing on such a big stage makes Simon nervous, he calls it total torture, he still supports his son's dreams, even if he has some worries about the pressures of being in the spotlight. Simon's concerns are not about whether Eric has the talent. He knows Eric is capable, but he is worried about the tough side of competition. Simon thinks that if Eric truly loves music, he should follow his passion in a more relaxed setting, away from the stress and judgment of a big talent show. He wants Eric to enjoy music without feeling the weight of high expectations. If Eric does decide to compete, Simon prefers to cheer him on from the audience rather than be a judge, making sure Eric knows he always has his father's support. But this wasn't the worst part for Simon. The idea of watching his son face criticism on such a public stage is a bit frightening. However, he also knows that Eric's dreams of being a rock star are not just passing ideas. They are serious goals that are growing with Eric's own talent and determination. As he explores these dreams, it's becoming clear that Eric is not just following in his father's footsteps, but is also creating his own unique path, driven by his own passions and interests. Eric's interest is more than just a childhood phase, it's turning into a solid goal. While people are noticing his talent as a judge and as a drummer, it's his confidence on the red carpet that really stands out. Although his parents, Simon and Lauren, usually try to shield him from too much media attention, Eric already handles public events like a pro. At the America's Got Talent finale in September 2022, Eric's calm and confident presence made it clear that he's comfortable in the spotlight. Eric grew up surrounded by his father and has been a regular on Simon's shows, something Simon values greatly. Simon loves seeing how Eric reacts during live tapings. In 2023, Simon mentioned in an interview that if Eric is having fun on the show, he feels it's a sign that the show is going well. Eric's red carpet appearances not only help boost his confidence, but also help him connect with other children of celebrities. For example, Simon once shared in a UK magazine that Eric had gone on a playdate with Bear, the son of singers Cheryl and Liam Payne, which shows how Eric is becoming part of the celebrity children's circle. But that's not the whole picture. Simon is very focused on making sure Eric finds his own path in life, especially when it comes to money. Unlike many rich parents who plan to leave huge fortunes to their children, Simon thinks differently. He wants Eric to create his own success. Back in 2013, when Lauren was pregnant with Eric, Simon said in an interview with Esquire that he believes in giving children opportunities rather than just money. He believes that teaching and spending quality time with children is much more important than leaving them a large inheritance. This mindset is clear even in the way Simon celebrates Eric's birthdays. For Eric's third birthday, they threw a huge dinosaur-themed party at the posh Mandarin Oriental Hotel in London, which cost about $10,000. And for his fifth birthday, they threw a The Greatest Showman-themed party that cost around $30,000. These celebrations show Simon's desire to make every birthday special and unforgettable for Eric. But this wasn't the only way Simon showed his values. When it comes to education, Simon prefers a balanced approach rather than focusing on grades alone. In an NBC interview in 2019, Simon shared that he wasn't happy with his own school experience and wants Eric to have a fun and healthy upbringing, one that doesn't put too much pressure on him. As Eric gets older, Simon has even started to think about having more children. He's realized how much joy and fulfillment being a father has brought him, especially after losing his own parents, which left a huge void in his life that fatherhood has helped fill. Although Simon and Lauren aren't currently planning on having more children, they are open to the idea if it seems okay. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.